Okay, hello. I just had an idea to make a video to think something about the mindset that what would Donald Trump do as leading Europe instead of leading America, as he have this America first thing going on. So what that would mean in perspective of Europe first. The first thing to my mind comes that he gives this kind of image, at least in now. I am not sure was it as much so when he last was president, but he's going to be now the president of the United States, and he gives this media news about Donald Trump gives this kind of feeling that now suddenly everyone owes America for some reason, that everyone's leeching off America and everyone is kind of using America to their own gains, and he is the one who won't let that happen, and then everyone have to pay up because they owe America in some way. That's the image I'm getting, and in my opinion, at least in the cases Europe, it's not true. As when I look in Europe perspective about this United States-Europe relations, it have been quite one-sided to advantages to America, in my opinion, because there's a lots of reasons for this. For example, many people will move to America because they have higher capital and they have more better salary, so they go there to America, and the best scientists and best about everything, they are able to hire all the best workforce in the entire world, and then they are able to get cheap labor from neighboring countries like Mexico and lure them in. So it's a very prosperous and advantageous thing for America, and for other reasons too. For example, Europe is using American infrastructure. They are using Microsoft Windows. All European national, governmental, or any institutions and armies, they always use American internet or this software infrastructure, these operating systems, and then they have been used to use American platforms, and then they buy almost all of their weapons from America. So, and it kind of stays that way when all of the researchers, top researchers, or many of the top researchers, they move to America and they do work for America. They are European people who move to America, then they possibly become American citizens, and then they continue doing high-class work in America, and then America does the patent, and then they sell it to Europe. So there is this kind of thing that you cannot just look about this kind of how much is Europe buying from America and how much is America buying from Europe, because there are other factors, and in other areas too. That is not a factor in American-China relationships. So if Donald Trump would be Europe first person, he would first cut the Microsoft away from European market. He would say that now this stops, we don't use American software infrastructure anymore, and then you just keep your own Microsoft, and we are using, for example, something like Linux. And then all governmental defense armies, these European armies and all governmental, all institutes, all banks and everything, they would stop using Microsoft Windows, and they would install Linux or generate some kind of European own system, and then even start to compete and market this system to America if they want to use it, which they won't, and compete this to offer this system to any countries around the world who want to use the European infrastructure instead of America. That would not be a good thing for America, because there is only one real option currently, and it's American infrastructure. Because Europeans are so good to America that they want to compete. They could compete, but they have chosen not to. They have uplifted the American system and integrated it to European system and want to be within the American system. That's voluntary. But if Europe would have Trump, he would say, this stop now, because this is not advantageous for us. This is advantageous for America. This is not Europe first. So that's the first thing. And the second thing would probably be that Europe would stop buying weapons from America. Even there would be better weapons, they would say, no, this is not advantageous for Europe. We want our own weapons, we want our own infrastructure, our own defense infrastructure, we want to have our own logistic, and our research then develop and our own industry. That we want to develop our own defense industry and only buy European. So what would that mean for America? Their largest weapon importer would suddenly say that no, we pay zero. And that would mean that their weapon sales plummets down. And that will also mean that Trump would say, being European first, that no, this stops, we don't buy weapons from you, this is not advantage for us, this is not European first, so we don't buy. And that's the two main things that Europe would probably do if Trump would see it as a person who wants to conduct this kind of Europe first policies. And these are the main kind of things that Europe are very good. You cannot say to your people that you cannot move to America, you cannot go there to research, but you can also encourage them. As well, if Trump would be Europe first person, he would say in media news that don't move to America, don't move, don't go there to make research for them, they are only using you. Stay in Europe and do research for us. And even conduct policies that they will raise the salary to the American levels, that all the top workers gain suddenly bonus. That I will give everyone millions and millions of euros of bonus who stay in Europe, just to keep them in Europe and not going to America. And that would not be a good thing for America in the long run. If you think about that, how little work you have to do when you sell weapons, how good salary you have for selling weapons. As in, you can sell some missile for 3 million, and how much work do you need to do for a million, and how much the components cost. It's outrageous price, but they are ready to pay that price because they want it. And there is high premium in weapons. This is the most expensive thing you can buy. It's weapons, some kind of healthcare, and then drugs or alcohol or something like that, or luxury goods. Those are the things that people want, basically, that they are ready to buy with lots of that make lots of revenue for the producer who can control the market. As in, that there are lots of revenue in drug market or alcohol market. There are lots of, or any kind of substances that make you alter your this mind altering substances, any kind that they always interest people. They are ready to buy them with high premium and always the weapons and always the healthcare. These, I suppose, are the main thing. There are lots of revenue in this kind of immaterial rights, that you can sell things like Netflix or YouTube or everything like that. But that's just the way it is. It's the open market. If America produces the best platforms, there is nothing you can do about it. You cannot just ban something like, of course you can ban something like TikTok, or what are you doing there, I don't know. But you can ban them, but it would probably not be the Europe first thing to do, because it's not, I think it's not right to ban something like YouTube or Netflix or Facebook or something. But there are some kind of, I know there are some kind of these jurisdictions that they are giving penalties to companies like Google or Meta using some kind of unfair practices, that they are only wanting to sell American products to their customers or something like that, that they are neglecting the European market, and they are giving them some kind of penalties, and there are some kind of this kind of thing going on, but that's a bit of different thing. I don't know what they really might be, that if Europe would be controlled by Europe first Trump, he would probably be even more harsh in that kind of environment and say that you have to pay up to come to European market. And then to say about what would it mean that if Trump would answer, or America would answer, in this mind play, Trump is not in America, it's only Europe. Trump lives in Europe and Trump is leading Europe, and America don't have Trump. So America can answer with some kind of tariffs. They can give tariffs for Chinese product like Trump does, and he is saying he can give tariffs to Europe product. But what would this mean to Europe? It would, in my opinion, I suppose it won't mean much, because there is a difference about Chinese products in America and Europe products in America. There is a different reason why they want them. As in, why do American consumer want to buy a Chinese product? They will go to shop, they will look for the cheapest option with any bulk item, and then they just buy the cheapest option and don't care about anything else. And then they go to home and it reads made in China. That's the reason why they buy. They don't buy it because it's from China. They don't buy it because of they have being good quality. They don't buy it for it having some kind of a advantage marketing or anything. They just want the basic product because they lack it, they need it, and then or want it, and then they just choose the cheapest option. That's the sole reason why China have lots of market in America, and that's why Trump wants to up the tariffs so that when they go to shop and buy the cheapest product, it's not anymore the Chinese product, or at least it's the similar price than their own products. And then they might as well buy the cheapest one and go home, and then the cheapest one say made in USA. And that would be good for US industry, that everyone start to buy suddenly United States produced bulk goods. Their sales would go up, and then the China imports to United States would go down, because people would not pay anymore because you manipulate the market in this way, that you manipulate it with these tariffs to keep higher price in United States shops. It's a ridiculous argument against this kind of policies that now consumers cannot buy the cheap products. It's never benefit you if you buy Chinese product instead of United States products. Of course, you should always buy the local. It's the same in Europe. Just buy Europe products. It's very easy. You will make it advantage for your own industry when you buy it. It's so simple. It's this kind of thing that children understand. But for some reason, the politicians usually won't have this kind of politics. And for this kind of thing, Trump is different kind of politician. That he have this kind of child-minded kind of approach. That he says how things are and what you should do about it. And there are simple solutions that now you give tariffs to Chinese products. And then everyone is like, no, you cannot do that. That is not what we do. That is something outrageous thing. And that will only hurt the economy. That will do some kind of only bad things. That's everything. That's not true. That's the adult thing saying that they always use some kind of excuses to do something like making it too complicated for their own good. And Trump just said no, the tariffs, and then the tariffs have this kind of effect, and then their own market is boosted for it, I suppose. That's what they want. Or should want, because that's really America's first thing to do, to protect your own market. And in Europe, it would be European first thing to do to protect European market. And when Europe starts to protect European market, it's not good for America. And so, and why this is, because if Europe starts to protect European market, no one in Europe will buy American goods. There's absolutely no reason to buy anything from America if you don't want their software system and you don't want their weapons. If you stop buying weapons and software system from America, what is the American products you buy? There's none. When you live in Europe and go to the Europe market, there's absolutely no competition in the market from America. Because American products are inferior to European products when you go to market. European food is better, European clothes are better, European everything is better, basically. And that's why American wants the European product. And the European products they want, they are not these kind of cheap products that you buy because they are cheap. They want luxury goods. They want Rolex, they want Ferrari, they want Mercedes, they want McLaren, they want whiskey, they want cognac, they want brandy, they want European wine, they want this and this and this. And all this kind of vintage wine or vintage whiskey or this kind of very premium expensive things. And then there are collectors in United States America who have ridiculous amount of money, and they use it to this kind of European high-end luxury goods. And they collect them. I have even seen a video, there is for some reason he don't want the American bourbon. He don't collect American bourbon bottles, he collects British whiskey bottles, Scotch. He is crazy about Scotch and he collects them. And he have even constructed some kind of underground bunker with all these kind of security measures that there are some kind of bottles that the price of those bottles in that bunker can be something like 100 million. And let's say if Trump gives suddenly, let's say 25% tariff to all those luxury goods, what it would happen in American market? It wouldn't affect their behavior, they would still buy it. If Rolex cost 25% more, do you think that these rich people don't anymore want it? No, they would want it even more, because now everyone knows that the Rolex is even more expensive, and no one else can buy them but them. It's the status symbol. It gives them this kind of feel that everyone who sees that they have Rolex in using it, then they see, oh yeah, and they only know that this is a high-class person. That's a status symbol. You need to have it. If you don't have the money to buy Rolex, you are no one, basically, in some kind of rich circles. And it's the Rolex. You want the Rolex. It's from Switzerland. There's no American alternative, I suppose. The American people, they want Rolex, these rich people, because they have kind of succeeded in this kind of marketing in America already. It's very hard to change their opinion in American circles that they suddenly stop wanting something like Rolex or Ferrari or Scotch. So that's the reason. There is no this kind of thing going to America from China. Is there any Chinese product in American market that people will buy for status? That they can go there, be prominent in some kind of street, and everyone go, oh, that's a modern China product, whoa, now that's a high-class person, yeah. They won't do like, it doesn't go like this. It's just more like you just buy the made in China and you never even know it's made in China. You just buy a bulk product, like some wash machine or some kind of a toothbrush or whatever, and then you just use it, and it's mainly basic bulk consumer goods. There is no this kind of status in it. But in hero products, it's a status thing. And everyone around the world wants them, because they are the best. And they have even they would not be the best quality, they have the image. Because you cannot substitute the image of Ferrari. If there are people who are driven into something like Ferrari, they like the red color and they like the style they make it, and they like the image and they feel powerful that they sit in the Ferrari and they feel it's this kind of masculine man thing, and I am driving a Ferrari, I'm a Ferrari guy. And then, how can you exploit that kind of person that Ferrari is shit? That no, actually Ferrari is some shit. No, it isn't. I drive Ferrari, I know about it. I love it. They say like this. And then they buy it. If the Ferrari prices go up, they still buy it, because they need to have the Ferrari. And there are people who have the money to buy it. And that's the reason. The money is not an issue to these people, especially in America. Because in America there's the more rich people than anywhere in the world. There is no other place in entire earth that are more suited for this kind of marketing, that you market luxury goods for them and have this kind of very good image as a luxury provider. The best market for is America, and the tariffs won't help for that. The tariffs only boost the image. When the prices go up, those people, it goes opposite. They want it even more. Because the premium goes up, the kind of value goes up. You are more valuable when you wear more expensive clothes, you wear more expensive some kind of handbags, you have more expensive clocks, you have more expensive cars, you have more expensive this kind of items that are like shown in your person, that people are they are connecting you to these items. And it makes you become someone with only having money. And then you can generate this kind of social uplift to yourself with only buying these kind of tools that or products that people are looking up to. And no normal people can achieve. Normal people, they can never have them, because they have been made special. And then when you acquire these items, you feel to become special. And that's what they are after, these people. And the tariffs won't change it. So if Europea will stop buying American products, they can do it, because there is absolutely no reason to use them. And only reason to want American products is if you want the best weapons in the world. That's the only reason. The software is not a reason, because we can do our own. Linux is not worse than Microsoft, for example. Many people are in the opinion that Linux is good enough. And if you only want to do work, the market advantage for Windows is not that is working, that is good for work. It's the gaming. So you still need to have the Windows. You cannot, if Windows can control monopoly to some kind of new good games that people want to play, what you can do about it? You can do nothing. You just, then people just buy Windows. But my point is that these governmental institutions that don't use these softwares to play games, there's no reason to install Windows for some kind of bank computer or system that you can play newest video games. They are not there to play games, they are there to do work. So why cannot you do that work with Linux? You can. You actually can. But the United States have been successful in marketing this their operating system or system to Europe. And it's also a security thing for United States. They have these intelligence services, they want to keep track what is happening in the world. And the United States infrastructure includes this, that they will spy on it. It's a very common known fact that United States spies all of their Microsoft or Apple or everything. They just have to do it because they are paranoid about everyone and people they want to know what everyone is up to. And if there is some kind of national threats to them, you don't need to take that away. You can just say to them that, okay, we install this to our own system also. You can monitor it. It's not a big deal. That's not the reason why you change it. The reason is the market. You want to buy your own products. You want to buy these licenses or these production licenses to Europe, not United States, because it's Europe first, what we are thinking about in here. We are not thinking America first. The Europe first do not it doesn't mean that we cannot help America or we cannot make cooperation. It's a different thing. It only means that we want to have our own market and we want to protect our own market. Or that's how I think it means. As in, how it would hurt European market if United States can monitor our system. It doesn't matter. But again, if we would have European Trump, he might as well say to United States that you have to pay up. Pay us licenses, only then you can install spy softwares. Only then we can let you monitor our system. You have to pay for security. I think that's also one of the theme in this Trump thing, that everyone else have to pay for security for United States. But it's actually in the opposite way. The United States is leading the security. As in, they are going to monitor European people through their own infrastructure, and they do it in Europe. And Europe pays for it to America. It doesn't make sense if you think about it. It should be the other way around, that America have to pay to access to European market to spy on it and monitor it. There's absolutely no reason to give it for them for free, because it's American security. They are not monitoring European this infrastructure for European security. They are doing it for American security, because it's American national security, some kind of intelligence association who does it. It's not European intelligence association who does it. It's American, and they are doing it for America, not for Europe. And that's the reason why the most logical thing, if you think like this childlike Trump approach, it would be that America have to pay to Europe to be able to monitor them, kind of a thing. So why would Europe need the American defense infrastructure? Why would they need the American monitoring their system? Why would they need the European American infrastructure? There is no reason to need it, because European can do their own. And if you think about which is the strongest military bloc in Europe, it's European Union. So where do we need American security guarantees? It's this kind of mind play that the Europeans have been put in some kind of this kind of a backward stance, that the Americans is pushing on it, and they are kind of taking advantage about the insecurities in Europe, kind of a thing. But if Europe would have Trump is not insecure person. It's very courageous person who says that no, we don't need it, we may go. That's what he does. He has very good self-esteem. I mean, he's not an insecure person, this Trump. And these European leaders, many of them, they seem like this kind of insecure. There is this kind of insecurity in Europe. They're unsure about themselves, and they are not that united like in United States. As in United States, if you think one United State is only one state, it's not powerful in itself, this one state, but because they have been grouped together to form this United States of America, they are powerful together, this one unit. But Europeans don't have it. It's just the European Parliament, it's a different thing. it's more divided, kind of, and that makes the insecurity in Europe. But would Europe have someone like Trump? The Trump would connect these European areas to make more feel to become together and to feel more like united. And probably would want to have something like United States of Europe in Europe. That would probably be one of Trump's Europe first policies, or this kind of agendas he would want. It's not that he would succeed probably in everything in this what I tell, but this is what I would imagine that Trump would be after to achieve in Europe if he would think Europe first. And it's a similar things he is doing in America. As in, he wants to protect American market, he wants to kind of do everything good for America and this kind of that, and then he also markets this kind of ridiculous thing that it's hard to believe. You don't need to do that because Europe first doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to other areas to say that they owe to Europe, because that would be quite kind of opposite. If you think about the history, the Europe is the kind of the bad guy in the history books that go everywhere and drop everything. And it's also the legacy in United States is a legacy of Europe. They have made United States kind of America as it is, and they have kind of done a very bad thing in this colonization era to their local residents who kind of were not that united. They were separated, these American Indians and all these different kind of people who lived there, and the Europeans did very bad number to them. And it's not only military what they did. I suppose it's also this kind of bureaucratic. They kind of cheat them, and they turned to each others, and they had their own problems, and they was not united. So in the similar way, if United States of America would not be united, they would not have become strong. And if you have this kind of united centralized government and go to the places where there are not centralized governments, it's very easy to push these people because they have their own problems, and they have even conduct warfare against each other, and there can be enemies, these local people. And you can play on that okay, now we support you, you attack them, now we support you, you attack them, and they are weakening themselves by having battles and conducting warfare against each other. Even there are invading force from other continents in their area, and they still conduct warfare on each other and don't unite. And that's kind of one of the reasons why the colonization was so easy, that the local people made it quite easy. If you look about what happened in Asia in colonization, the Asia is kind of relatively intact because those cultures had bureaucracy and centralized governments already. So this kind of strategy didn't fare as well in there. They have their own cultures there, strong cultures, which the American continent as a whole it lacked. They didn't have that strong centralized systems and this kind of bureaucracy, modern civilizations, and that's why they didn't fare well in it. I really don't know why Africa is very intact nowadays after colonization. They only imported slaves, and that can also be something like something that they were cheated, as in they probably mostly didn't forcefully take them as captives. They probably cheated them, which is a bureaucracy cheat that these African peoples didn't understand. And then only later it have been made clear that they have been agreed to become slaves actually, or something like that. I suppose it's some kind of that they were cheated, these African people. And but in colonizations there was so much people in Africa and it was so chaotic or something that and that it didn't go in the similar way than in America. It was the easiest to do in American continent. And then there was this Australia that was just kind of there that nobody for some reason did it before there. And Europe was able to go to Australia and install their own colonies there because the Asian people for some reason didn't do it. I really don't know why, but European did it before them. And that's why Australia had this European background majority. And again, these original people, aboriginals or something, they are not as good in their position as in this invaders from Europe. So The European don't kind of have, they have this background that I suppose these European politicians, they think that it's not in their position to go to be some kind of boss in other places. And for that team, you have United States who do it. Because they think differently, I suppose. This Europeans probably feel a bit bad about this, what they have done in history. In my opinion, if there would be this kind of very populistic leader in Europe, another thing what they could do, they could return this kind of a treasures they have been partly robbed from other side of the world. In Europe museums, there are lots of these kind of very important treasures that they show to people who go to European museums, like London Museum or something, that can be very cultural important for some people in other areas. For example, there are pharaohs that you can see. And how would, for example, Egypt react if Europe would suddenly return pharaohs to Egypt? That you can have them back for free. That would be major diplomatic success, in my opinion. Their opinion in Europe would rise. They would suddenly think that these people, that's the right thing to do. And that's a very nice thing to do. And start to like that Europe is now good. And they would probably also say that Europe first. Probably not Europe first, they would say Egypt first. But they would kind of see Europe as a very, this kind of a high esteem trading partner or some kind of cooperation partner. Because they reach towards them and make this kind of gesture to give them back. And it's also something that only a person similar to Trump can do. No other politician ever there so greedy or so kind of a so adult kind of minded that no adult can ever give back something like Pharaoh to Egypt. But if children think about it, children would can have this kind of ideas. Why don't ask your parents, why don't we give these pharaohs back to Egypt? It's from Egypt, their thing. And then the adults say, no, you don't understand, you are children. But it's actually the children do understand. Why don't the adults react that, yeah, that's actually a brilliant idea. Let's give them their pharaohs back. And there are some kind of different kind of treasures. There are treasures from India. There are treasures from the British India was. They are not all robbed. Some of them are bought or cheated also. That the local people were selling them to Europe. As in, they were asking them that can we buy your pharaoh, for example. And then those people who kind of betrayed their own heritage, they say that, okay, just give me money and you can go take the pharaoh. And they were greedy people there. It doesn't matter how have you acquired them. You have not necessarily robbed them. You might have as well acquired them as a merchandise in the very past. But the aspect of it is the gesture to return them in the modern times. That's a specialized item you hold, some kind of ancient pharaoh in your museum. And that item holds prestige. It holds way more like this kind of status than these Rolexes or Ferraris or anything. The Rolex and Ferrari cannot compete if you think about you have a pharaoh. The pharaoh is a once in a lifetime cultural thing, and there will never be more pharaohs. It's a dead culture, this old Egypt, pharaoh Egypt. It's modern Egypt is different. They will never again, I suppose, have pharaohs and culture like this, and you cannot substitute. It's irreplaceable, in to say. The prestige, amount of prestige that this some kind of pharaoh this holds, it's priceless. You cannot price it with money alone. It's something that holds more meaning. It holds this kind of and that's why this gesture to give it back for free holds this kind of meaning towards to reach this nation that the item come from. That you can have this kind of diplomatic relation to boost it or make it go higher, or even establish some kind of very good connection with this kind of nation. There probably would be no Egyptian person who would say that no, this is a shitty thing to return as our pharaoh. They would all like it, and they would in their media they would be top breaking news that Europe, London Museum returns pharaoh. Even they would only return one. If London Museum have something like 10 pharaohs, I don't know how many they have. they can return one of them. And then some kind of a buried treasures that they have taken from their tombs to return to. For example, something legendary like Tutankhamun. Everyone knows Tutankhamun. That's legendary. That's mythic almost. As in this proportion how legendary the thing is. And how much this the whole prospect that these people, these pharaoh, were building tombs to them, where all of their nation will work for only to generate this kind of ridiculous thing like pyramid, for to be only tomb for one person. The whole notion of this is absurd. The whole existence of pyramids are absurd, because it don't contribute. To think about it in logical way. You are wasting your time in producing a pyramid, because what's the point? They believe differently in that era. That's the modern era. Modern person sees absolutely no reason to do something like that. That's completely ridiculous and completely like this kind of that whole nation have to work to build this kind of enormous tomb for some one person, and all of the resources of a nation are brought to generate this one building where you are laying this person to rest when after that person is died, because you happen to believe that person is some kind of god person or ento kind of this godly divine some kind of a person, and then somehow how it affects them afterlife, that how good prestigious and then when the last pharaoh have a pyramid of this height, then the next pharaoh want to have even larger pyramid, and then the next pharaoh have even be larger pyramid, and they kind of made the larger life who have the biggest pyramid. It's this kind of ego thing that similar that if some person have Rolex, then you have, I don't know how can you up it, that if one person have some kind of expensive watch, then another person want to have Rolex, and then that item boost your kind of prestige or this kind, and they want to make it kind of this kind of immortal thing that they will stay in history, and they were successful in it. As in, no person can say that this pyramid is not an awesome thing that they have achieved and built it, but if you think about the practicality of the pyramid, there is none. There's absolutely none. Then might have been people who will die for hunger, and still they don't work the fields, they will work the pyramid, because they want to leave this kind of historic monument for those people yet to come. And everyone in the world, if there's a person who don't know what this pyramid is, very strange. And these people in the past, colonial people, they went inside the pyramid, and then they took the person who was put it there away and brought it to museum, that everyone can look, hey, look, there is this pyramid person who was put it there. And that's absolutely a big intrusion to that person's afterlife. That's absolutely, for in this kind of belief system that they probably had, that's something like probably worst thing you can do. It's very like something they would never have accepted, never. But for some reason, these modern people in there probably sold those pharaohs to British people. They will just don't care anymore. They will just go take the pharaohs and leave kind of money, kind of thing probably. But there are some kind of ideas to what to do, and if you want to think about Europe first, there's these two main things in my opinion that you should do. Make your own software infrastructure for all institutions, and then not a private thing, but this governmental institutions, banks and armies and everything, that they don't have to pay license to America. And then second thing is stop buying weapons from America. Even you would produce not as good weapons in Europe, you should buy them only for the reason they being European weapons. Because weapons are so important for economy and security. And the more you buy European weapons, the better they will become in the future, because then they have more funding to conduct research and make product development. If you never buy European weapons as a European, you are kind of hurting yourself. You have to buy European when you are Europe. If you want to strengthen your own area, you want to strengthen your own economy, you want to strengthen your own defense or security. You cannot forever to kind of lean on America for security guarantees. You have to learn to stand on your own legs, as to say. And you can never do that if you never buy European weapons as an European. And there are some European countries who already do this. For example, France. Do you see France buying United States weapons? No. They will always want to do domestic weapons. And there's one similar place is Sweden. Sweden also thinks like this. They only want to buy Swedish weapons. They only buy American weapons if they cannot produce it. And to my knowledge, there is at least one thing that they buy from America. They bought Patriot missile systems because Sweden Saab cannot produce them. They don't have long range or this kind of heavier air defense systems. They are not that good in air defense systems, but they have all different kind of other systems that they produce domestically. Basically almost everything else. They also have their own fighter jets. They don't buy F-35, even if it would be better. They will do the Gripen. And they have always also the Swedish type of thinking. These things are practical. They always want them to have low maintenance cost, and they always design them to have low this fuel usage. As in, they want to keep their logistics light. As in, this Gripen will use way less fuel than any other fighter jets in the world. And that's one of the reasons why some of the countries that have bought Gripen, for example, Brazil choose Gripen. They choose it it become cheaper to use in the long run. And that's the Swedish type of thinking, that they are practical people who want to make it, they think economically, this thing. And that's also one of this thinking that why they want to produce everything themselves is because of economy. And in the past, when they see this fighter jet to become so important, there was absolutely no other option for them than to produce their own and to have very, very high this kind of a target for them and to approach this and make it their first goal in their defense industry to absolutely achieve their own fighter jet and produce it them domestically and then try to export it. They have this kind of projects like Eurocopter, or they have this kind of projects like this now Eurofighter 2.7. They have this kind of things what they do in Europe, and they have to do this kind of cooperation. It's usually Sweden, United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, and Germany and France. It's usually this kind of countries that are developing these things together. But the United States are very successful in pushing in Europe weapons market and make these government deals in Europe. I understand it with this F-35 kind of in a way because it's the best. So it's the same thing than Rolex basically. That if you want to have F-35, it means something. And when someone is looking about your inventory, they see you have the F-35. It's a similar thing that it gives you prestige. It's different thing to see that you have Gripen than F-35. Gripen don't kind of make this large impact, and that's the reason that they are ready to buy from it. But when you look the bigger picture, you can never have your own F-35 if you always only depend to acquire it from United States. Only way you can have it yourself if you are strongly pushing your own product development. And then if you have this kind of similar goal than the Sweden had with these fighter jets, and then that's also a bad thing for the United States and good thing for Europe. It also means that Europe can start to compete with United States in this global defense market. And you cannot know the future. You cannot say that United States will forever have the best equipment. It is entirely possible that if there is some kind of Europe first thing going on in Europe, then they, for example, after 30 years, in some areas of military equipment or technologies, they will be higher than United States, and it would be actually be other way around that the United States would want to acquire something from Europe, and then they have to think about it. That do we buy this from Europe or do we buy domestic, even it's not as good as European product. It's very hard to think that Europe would have better weapons than America, but it is possible, not now, but in the future. And there is some instances in European defense production and this defense industry that is almost as good or probably even better than in States even now. There are, for example, Otto Melara, named company who makes this kind of autocannons. They are very good. They are not worse than American versions. they're actually something that America also probably use. And then they have these submarine technologies in the most prominent or most successful submarines in the world come from Germany, this Type 212. And they have this kind of submarine development. And there have been also they have been proven to be good, these Swedish submarines and British submarines, and these European submarines are good. There is absolutely no reason to buy submarines from United States if you can buy or can produce yourself the European ones, because they are can even be better even. And the understanding of some of these things are in equal level in this, but I cannot think of more. Almost everything else in the United States is a better, as in these missile technologies, these fighter planes, these steel technologies, probably these computer technologies or understanding of it, the software technology, probably artificial intelligence, probably all these kind of things are better in there. So that's why they want them. And of course, that's why they buy them, and then they get their hands on it, they will reverse engineer it and try to develop their own, but in the same time frame, the United States will have produced something even better and newer, and then they have newer version. And in the time frame, you kind of have reverse engineered their old designs. Basically, they have made something better. And some of those people who are generating them for the United States are European. They are European, who born in Europe. They moved to United States and probably are United States citizens because they live there, they have their family there, and so they have no reason to move back in Europe because their life is in America. They have integrated there, and the life is good there, and they have way more prosperous this position in there, and better status and probably better work environment as in it's. There's all this kind of thing like if you think about like sports, that every people who conduct some kind of sport, they dream of competing in American level. As in there is this ice hockey league in America, there is this some kind of football is not. The football is very, I think, suppose it's European centers, this football leagues. But in many sports like ice hockey and this basketball, they are NBA. They are very, very famous, these American leagues, and every people who play basketball in all around the world, they always dream about that they will be drafted to American league. This kind of thing because they draft the best people from all around the world, and they can do it because they have the most revenue. And when they do to draft these best people, they are by no means American people. All of these stars who compete in their own leagues. Of course, they are foreign to move there, and they have the best workforce, as in these best athletes, and then it generates more pool. And they can generate it. It's kind of this kind of domino effect, that they have the most money to hire them, and then when they can acquire these people with lots of with high salaries, the people go there, it generates pool for these people, individual pool, and when you acquire all of this, that all of the world stars are competing in your league, and the level of expertise in your league is way better than anywhere else. It generates this kind of extra pool and extra this kind of attention, and then this extra pool and attention generates even more revenue because everyone is interested. So you use more revenue than everyone else, which in the end ends generating you even more revenue. That it's an investment that will pay up for you to acquire all these specialized and highly skilled workforce and people and labor. So that's why the United States is so successful. They have successful marketing campaign in the world, and they are not all American people. They are also Asian people, they are African people, they are like European people all around the world people who come there to America and to make America prosper, and be able to be the market leader and the world leader, and have the highest standard, because all these best people in all area go there to work. That's the reason. So it's a bit absurd to start to suddenly think that everyone owes now to America, and now everyone has to pay up, because when you think it in different way, you have always think the opposite, that you are kind of more like envy America that they are having it so good that everyone will help them and everyone will build America and then they benefit from it and all our best people go to America and they won't help our own area, they just go to help Americans and they are somehow able to do this everything and then America have their own infrastructure everywhere, they can monitor everywhere, they can to some extent have some limited control even outside their own area, their influence, their global impact is way bigger. And always when you have this kind of global impact, this kind of pull on prestige, it's builds up, it's cumulative. Kind of. Everyone are interested about what happens in America because it's so big thing. So that's kind of it. But there is absolutely no reason why Europe cannot become something similar. Not the same as America because it's a different culture, but something similar in a world stage because individualities European countries are not as strong. But I looked about some kind of statistics. The European area have something like double the amount of people than in America. There are something almost 600 million people in Europe, and that's way more than in America. And many of these people in Europe, they are very capable. But the America aims to draft them. They scout and draft and make them offers that come work us. So this European people could do the counter offer. They could also scout their own area and even foraging areas. Europe also want to different people to go to Europe. They also, of course, want these highly skilled people, but their strategy is kind of not as strong as in Europe, as in United States. I mean, United States is reaching for them more. They offer them more, and they have more emphasis probably in this acquiring these high skilled people. Europe don't probably prioritize it as much as America. And the Europe don't prioritize their global standing as much. They are not the ones in modern times that are some in other areas to strongly push something that they want. But United States is this kind of. And there's also this thing what the Trump says about the NATO. That's also what I think a bit differently. If the Europe can, I think that in all actuality, if you neglect the fact that Europe is very insecure, these European countries, especially some of them, are very, very insecure. So they need the guarantees currently because they are insecure. But this, if you think about it in larger picture, this what Trump says that Europe have to pay up and they stop reaching the NATO security guarantees. It's actually the United States that is benefits more of NATO. Because the United States is the country that goes to, for example, Asia and play some strong hand there. And when these local people in Asia look about United States, they don't only see United States, they see NATO. And the NATO is larger than United States. There is other factors there. There is also European Union there. There is all this kind of there. There is Canada there. There is all this kind of different other nations too. And United States is kind of seen as their leader. That it's a common image thing that if United States do or say something, it holds the meaning or it holds this power projection of everyone else also. And United States dictates this power projection. And they are the kind of a head figure of NATO that goes to different places and it generates them this kind of power projection. If United States, if United States would do like the Trump threatens, but they won't for this reason, because he only threatens it. I'm quite sure that Donald Trump would never be ready to dissolve NATO. It would be a disaster for United States, because it would mean that when United States go to different places, they would only see United States. Then their power projection would plummet. As in, they would only see that now this United States diplomat or some kind of head of state speaks only with power projection of United States. Okay, that's not as threatening as the NATO. That's what I mean. And there is no other NATO country who does this. Only United States does this. And the whole power projection that the NATO generates as a whole unit is only for United States to use. So it's a United States in globally, in means of power projection, who only use it. No other country uses it. The other NATO countries only use it for personal security guarantees, because they are insecure. That's all they use NATO for. There's no other reason to be in NATO for them. That's because they are insecure. They are security threats, and they cannot think that they can manage it themselves. So if they will get rid of this insecurity and generate some kind of a better standing, better security situation within Europe, it will be centered in Europe. That would mean, where would they need NATO anymore? There is absolutely no reason, because Europe don't have agendas outside Europe. They don't. And at least not in the same way than United States have. United States is a global power, that they compete in global level. Europe is not. Europe is only like Europe. It's this kind of thing. Europe first don't mean global dominance. It means this kind of a local dominance, basically. It's different thing. United States is global and Europe is local, basically. That's how I see it. So this was this video about what would Europe first mean in Europe, and looking from Europe perspective to be kind of taking inspiration from this Trump and his style and how he is representing himself in the media, and or how I have seen it happen in media or read this news, and this is the video for it. And I will probably stop this video now and hope that it was a cool video and made you think about these things. And one also thing that I have noticed from many of these media things, what these politicians say, that when I read them, what they say, I very often think that it's actually the opposite what they say. In the same way that when Trump said that this Europe leads in the NATO guarantees, I read it and I just change the sentence that United States is leads in the NATO guarantees. Oh, that's what you want to say. And how it actually is. It's how I see it. So it's very ridiculous to somehow push that everyone has to pay up, and actually the one who benefits it the most is the one who says that pay up. So who should really be the one who pay up, if you start to think about it? It's this kind of thing. You can have really different opinions and different things, and this is all speculative, as in that this security guarantee thing is speculative. As in, if nothing ever happens, it never actualizes what it actually would mean. And if it doesn't, it's speculative thing. And it's hard to put a price for it, as in to say. And it's hard to think about that. And security is something that you never want to compromise. It's so important thing. That it's very important. And for that reason, also, it's very good if you can produce it domestically or locally. And if you have to be dependent on security guarantees from another continent, it's not a good situation to be in. It produces you vulnerabilities, and it produces you uncertainties that you cannot protect yourself. It's the same in individual life. If you are very insecure, and if you cannot protect your own or cannot protect yourself, it's very bad position to be. It's a good thing to think that you are in a good, very comfortable position, and that it affects everything. When you think you are in some kind of a weak position or insecure, it starts to affect your decisions. So it's this NATO security guarantees, for example, I live in Finland, for example. This joining NATO help a lot, because people can relax then, and they can start thinking other things. They don't have to be so panicked about everything. their judgment become better and their choices become more beneficial because they are more relaxed. So it's a very, very beneficial thing. For example, a country like Finland and for Sweden also to be NATO or Baltic states or this kind of country. But for a country, for example, like Britain or France, they really don't need it. They absolutely have no. They only contribute to the NATO as a whole, but they don't need the security guarantees. They are not in this kind of position. And they are not as insecure. For example, France is very have more courage. They are more like in a better position for it. And their strategies also, you can see it from there. You can see the thing in France that the defense industry it means much to France, and they think a bit similar probably than the United States. The France is probably the country in Europe that think most the same than the United States. And in France, there probably is strong emphasis on something like France first or something. And then they also have this kind of power projection. They are the country in Europe that use power projection in outside of their area. And they are this kind of historian. They have all this kind of things. But they don't, for example, in Algeria, that Algeria want to be independent. Their leader, de Gaulle, just say can be. And they didn't want to fight for it, and then Algeria they just accepted it. And that's very wise thing to do. That you don't hold some kind of nation against their will and conduct some kind of slavery outside of your own area. That's very, very not a thing to do. And some of these people in France, they rebelled for it because they thought that de Gaulle would be the person who will keep Algeria, but he wasn't. He saw it differently, and there was problem for him, and there was some kind of very discontent people that wanted to have some kind of colonial rule, French colonial rule in Algeria. They have all these kind of things going on in Africa. Their president Macron is actually a person who have given their old colonial African kind of nations back some of these kind of old treasures that for some reason have been brought to France. They gave them back for free. And I saw the picture, the African leader who received these old treasures, this kind of historic, these treasures. There are something like statues or something, wood carvings or these kind of very simple things, but the leader was smiling very wide and was really happy to receive them. And it most likely generated some kind of French hype in their country and make good diplomatic relations. It's just this kind of thing what I mean that you should do, that you should reach about these old areas who might hold some kind of probably even grudge or think that you have been leeching on them, and reach to them and say that no, we don't do that anymore, and we are not the same people, that those people are not anymore, and we are different. And then they see that, okay, and then they want to cooperate and it benefit both. So this kind of thing is also, I think, should be Europe first approach, that to generate mutual cooperative and not see as Europe as being as some kind of underdog kind of a thing that is cannot kind of cope with its position or something like that. To feel more secure, feel more kind of united as a local area, and then build this kind of fruitful relationships and in a good way, and have this kind of image to be this kind of constructive, very good will force, and not something that people will see as someone to rob them or something like that. And this, I think that would also be benefit for Europe, this kind of image. That would also be Europe first to take other people into account and to construct this kind of real relations, not only some dependencies or something like in this old colonial era. Europe was very different. They were really different people. That kind of thing, there is very little this kind of thing in Europe anymore. So it's not the thing anymore. It's a global world basically. If you think about it, that this colonial era, you didn't have internet, you didn't have cameras, you didn't have video cameras. Nobody, you don't have any media for what they did. These people, it's kind of they kind of get away with it very easily because you don't have media for it. You only have the stories and history that you can see the situation that the European people have been spread all over the world, that you can understand that they have done it, but they get away with it very easily, because in these modern times where there are all kind of cameras and you can put things in internet and things, they don't do it anymore. You cannot get away with it as easily as in the past, when there was no video cameras or internet or anything. It's a different world. It's the information flows freely, and this anyone can access it. And how can you hide something very like this kind of very drastic and very impactful things that you do in other areas? You cannot, and then the people will notice it, and even those people who don't normally would not notice it normally, because it don't happen in there. For example, when China annexed Tibet, it was a different word. You can see it in some kind of news or newspaper, but you didn't really relate to it, because there was no this kind of thing, this kind of internet thing that is now. Would China have annexed Tibet in modern times? They would not have gotten away with it, I suppose, as easily as when they did. Of course, it's portrayed as some kind of peaceful reunion or something like that, but everyone knows that it's something else. It's conquer, basically. They conquered the nation, basically. They just attacked and made it China. Tibet was not China, but now it is. It's basically like that. And they just did it, and there was absolutely no anything happened. It just happened, and nobody did anything, and nobody thought anything about it. I remember it. I remember the atmosphere when it happened, or was some kind of thing. I really don't know. I'm sure that when it happened, it's a very old thing or it's a recent thing. But I remember that there was some of this kind of thing in the news. It was not this kind of top priority news. It was just something that they mentioned, that Dalai Lama, it was not even Tibet thing. It was only centered in Dalai Lama. The whole like news were centered that Dalai Lama is like have to run away from Tibet and then seek some asylum from somewhere. It was about Dalai Lama, this news. It was not about Tibet even. So it was just some minor thing that you just mention in news, and then just life goes on and nobody cares kind of thing. So same thing happened in Afghanistan. There was lots of things happening in Afghanistan, nobody cared. There's no news about it, they have no media coverage, they have no marketing campaigns, their public relations department was so bad in Afghanistan that nobody cared, and media doesn't care. It was probably very easy to understand what was happening in Afghanistan. They were attacked, some people tried to conquer them, and then they kind of endured it, and it didn't succeed. And they did it. It all happens in this kind of that people didn't notice it. It was just something almost invisible thing to many people in especially Western world, I suppose. But those people locally probably felt differently. As in, they lived there in this area and they noticed what happened there. But it's all about this kind of public relation, media coverage thing, that what kind of things are shown. And in this era we live now, in modern era, you can do it yourself. You don't need the media for it. You have platforms like YouTube, which is excellent like platform for everything. It's very like, I remember when YouTube came, it was a big hit, and it is still the top one standard in this kind of sharing your videos. And you have this kind of platform, everyone can access it. And would, for example, Afghan people would be like seek to have this kind of individual coverage for what happens in Afghanistan and make YouTube videos for it. They would probably affected the whole thing way more. It would have more impact. But I somehow don't understand they did it. And for this reason that you have now, if the media will want to hide something, you have YouTube. And then you can push this kind of a thing very strongly, especially if its whole nation will be affected. There will be millions of videos or some kind of content that people are talking about it and pushing it forward, that look what is happening here. And then people will see, oh, what? And then they will understand that something is happening somewhere. We are living in this kind of era. You cannot do something like colonization, that you just, for example, in colonization, those people in Africa, they probably have no idea what is happening in America. And the word was not the same. As you could do things in other areas and then nobody know about it. They probably hear rumors or something and then they can, for example, be a bit of a suspicious that is it really so? And there's, I don't really know, and this kind of thing, especially if you have different kind of public relations in every place. For example, some Spanish kingdom have this different kind of image in different part of the world, and then they say in different part of the world, no, this Spanish kingdom is very good, they trade with us and we do conduct business and they are our partners. And then when you ask about, in America, about Spanish kingdom, what they do about that, they would just like be in fear or terror or something like that it's entirely different thing, and that it won't connect, because there is no this kind of connectivity that there is now. They don't have they didn't have YouTube, for example, and they didn't have video cameras to conduct. And that's the reason. A very clever local area first strategy in this modern era, I don't think it's something that you want to rob everyone. At least you don't want to make them think like it. If you would do, you kind of want to be nice, and that's kind of also your local area first thing, to be nice to others, I suppose. And then people will like it, and you don't generate this kind of strife. It's kind of bad things have so much impact nowadays, because you have this kind of things, individual YouTubes or also media. If media takes something into give it media coverage, it's always a big thing, but the impact of media is worsening, in my opinion. And in future it will become more like it. People will want to see more like this kind of amateur content more and more, and will shift towards amateur content. They don't care about the news as much anymore. And this nowadays they have this kind of things happening in the world that will be that they are more drastic. So people are more interested in the media probably now than they were a bit in the past. But in the future, supposedly, I suppose the importance of media will only grow weaker. This importance of these individual content creators, they will only become more important. And can even be, you can see it also that all this kind of, especially in America, all of this even Donald Trump was producing his own Truth social platform, and this very very often these media articles they have citating these things that these people are saying in social media, and the social media have become a norm in normal media also. Normal media citates on what political figures are saying in their individual social media, and they are paying attention and reading these political figures, social medias, and then taking things there and put them in normal media news. So you can see from there that there is this kind of shift. In past, there was no this kind of thing. There was absolutely no, you could never imagine a media article having a citate from some individual YouTube account or Twitter or as in X account or Facebook account. And for some reason, I don't know why, this also this kind of strange choices, that for some reason these things that they will citate in these articles, it's never Facebook. They will not, these people for some reason have chosen their own Twitter. It was always this Twitter that they wanted to citate in this media. It's some kind of choice. And some people maybe saw the Facebook differently than Twitter. It's this kind of Rolex thing probably, image thing. That the Facebook image is so kind of a common folk that it's not as high standard. If you want higher standard social media, then it was, I remember it was when Facebook came, then came Twitter. And the Twitter was managed to portray themselves or become this kind of higher standard social media. And then these people with higher standards, they made a Twitter account, not Facebook account, because Facebook was seen as something too common for them, basically. Or that's how I think. And then the media will citate the Twitter, not the Facebook, I think. Because these people, there was this different marketing groups they were targeting, probably. I don't know, was it intentional, but it can also be this kind of strange thing that happened on its own, because Facebook was the first. And then all these alternative people, they thought that the Facebook is, because it was first, then it was this too popular, too common. And then when there became new one, Twitter, everyone thought that I am the Twitter guy. I am not this Facebook guy. And all these Facebook guys are just like normal common folk. I am special, I go to Twitter. There was this kind of feeling, that there was this kind of certain type of people who, when Facebook was new, everyone was asking that, hey, add me as a Facebook friend. It was a very big thing when it happened. And then there was these special people who was kind of put themselves above that. When you ask them that can you add me as a Facebook friend, then they are some kind of think highly and say, no, I'm in Twitter. And then it makes them special. You are in Twitter, I'm not in Twitter. Yeah, but I am. If you want to add me, you have to come to Twitter. And that makes them kind of different. And there are this kind of people that only wanted to connect in Twitter. They never wanted to Facebook because Facebook was so low level for them. As in, there was this kind of thing. They was putting this kind of distance for these common people who use Facebook. That they are higher class. They use Twitter, and it was very like this kind of thing. And then this Twitter became the thing that the media want to citate, because media also want to, of course, be higher class. And then Facebook is too common. And then nowadays it's X, of course, which is also a very kind of strange thing that it shouldn't change everything. But it didn't affect much. And now the media is always citating X. So I talk about 20 minutes more before I thought I will end this video, but there are of course endless amount of things to say about the things about this. This was not all Europe Forest. It was also about all these situations and things, but this Trump is this kind of a flashy person who generates this kind of makes you kind of notice himself way more than probably any other politician in modern era. And this I really don't know what is going to happen, and that's also part of the thing why he generates this kind of attention, because he keeps everyone on their toes, basically. It's this kind of unpredictability that is it there, and that's probably part of the I don't know, the person, his style, and probably part of his success, that it's really something that it's not that easy to figure out, but probably these things that are very like simple and this easy to understand, this, for example, these tariffs. And in my opinion, these tariffs is an excellent idea. Everyone should have lots of tariffs. But one thing that I don't really like in that policies is this fossil fuels. I don't like it. It's not this fossil fuel is not. It's not a clever thing to do. It's a bad thing. There is other options, and it's more like of a choice. It's not an economic thing. You can produce the economy also environmental friendly. There is no less money circumventing. It's just circumvent differently if you do it differently. If you produce economic, you can also have this kind of taxes or tariffs that target all these kind of harmful things. And there is also this in this Trump administration going to be this Kennedy Jr., who will target these food companies in America. It's the same thing, have been, at least when I was in school in Finland. They are giving students, these children, bad food. And for example, in Finland, they order it from Argentina. Why don't they order local Finnish food and put them eat good food in school? It's the most important thing. And you have school lunch there every day, every school day, and these children will eat basically low quality food, because the government want to have some kind of savings in their budget. It is ridiculous. And then they buy it from another continent. Everyone remembers that bad food no one wanted to eat. It was so bad that you rather didn't even eat it. It was some of this food people didn't eat it. They just throw it to garbage because no children wanted it. They would rather be hungry in the school day and then eat it home. or then go to shop, buy something, and when they go to shop, buy something, they usually buy something stupid like candy or chips or something. These things that what you eat is very important. It becomes part of you, and it's basically your fuel, this food. And if you add low quality food, you will generate low quality like body. So it's a very important thing. And if you like to trap or trigger your people to eat bad or make them eat bad, that they don't have choice, it's a very bad choice. It's one of the most important, it's core things in life. And food is one of the core things in life. And it's one of the core things in this kind of how you say this culinaristic practices, that people enjoy eating good food. And it's a very big thing in many European cultures that they have this kind of for example, this France, they have their very prominent kitchen, that they have the French kitchen, and Japan have this ramen and all kind of sushi or this kind. I'm a fan of Japan food. This their food culture. It's because a part of reason the Finnish don't have their own food culture basically. So that's a stupid thing to do, and that's a right direction. I suppose a good thing that they will, as in they say, make America healthy again. It's a very good choice to make. And then I read about in this news, there's all this kind of opposition from different kind of that they say that it have to be something that conduct with science, it have to be scientific, and this is not the way, and this is. But I think it really is a way. It's that simple that you don't want to basically make your citizens suffer with some kind of low quality things. And food, there is no more important thing than this food and good air quality and good this kind of healthy environment and good nature, and this that you take care of nature. It's also in Bible, if you think about it, that this God create human to become gardeners, and do good gardeners destroy the garden? No, they don't. They take care of it. And that's what in Bible say that humans were created for, to cultivate and take care about the environment. And what do they do in world now? They do the opposite. They destroy it and pollute it. That's not a good thing. And you can choose. People are free to choose. There are no outside forces that are forcing humans to do it. They do it on free will. And they have a choice. That's also one of these things in Bible that they say, that there is this force called this devil, who will tempt people to do the wrong choice. But the devil cannot force your hand. They can only tempt you, and then you do the choice. That it's important in that concept that humans have a free will to choose, and then they can see what the human is, and then there is this force that tempts them to do the wrong choice. And when you do the wrong choice, then that's what you are, kind of a thing. There is this kind of concept, and when you do the right choice, they can just say and this kind of thing. And the right choice is not to pollute earth. It's very simple. Even children can understand, but adults cannot. The adults will say you everything. No, it's not like that. You can do this and this, and it's not true, and it's this and this and this and no. You have no other options. You have to put fossil fuel, and we do fossil fuel, and so you can even do this kind of laws that you cannot have building rights if the building doesn't produce electricity. You can even do this kind of laws that you cannot do cars, electric cars, if it doesn't produce electricity. So I see Teslas in here, which is a very successful company, America, and one of these companies in America that have sale in Europe. So people buy Tesla actually in Europe a lot. So that's one of the American products that is selling good here. So why does Tesla not have means to generate electricity? Because they want to have some kind of revenue selling electricity as a fuel. They always want to sell fuel, because fuel is consumed, then it's gone, and then you have to endlessly buy it more. But if a car generates fuel in its own, if a Tesla would have solar panel in the chassis, in the top floor, this in the top of the car, What would it mean? You would drive it to work, you park it there next to your workplace. Then sun is shining to that car, it will recharge. It's full battery. When you go out of work, you go to shop, you drive it to home, and then you park it there in your home park lot. And then it sun is shining there, it recharges, you go to sleep, and morning when you again drive that car to work, it's full of battery. You don't need to ever buy food if the car recharges itself, having a solar panel in the roof. And it don't even mean that you need to have this kind of clumsy, some kind of bad looking solar panel. It can be inbuilt, integrated within the chassis. The whole chassis can also contain this kind of solid solar panel that the whole chassis will generate electricity for the car. So you can do these kind of things. And when your home is using electricity, why your home cannot produce electricity? And why cannot every individual person have a right to sell electricity for public network? It's only this kind of bad qualities that generate this kind of atmosphere that you cannot. That you have greed, you have individual, some kind of selfish things, and these are the things that humans choose. You choose to pollute the earth. There is always other option, but you choose the bad thing because you are bad. And that's one thing I don't like. Donald Trump said, drill baby, drill, and more fuel, more oil, and just pollute everything, and the climate change don't exist, and this environmental, this pollution doesn't exist. It does exist. You will notice it. So that's not a good thing to do. And that's not either Europe first, that's not even world first, that's not earth first, that's earth last kind of thing to just pollute it for everyone. There are even now many countries that are doing their infrastructure only now. They don't have even electricity in some place of the world, and they now want to have it. And what should be done, in my opinion, should kind of lean on this kind of clean choices, and not to start to produce more and more of this fossil fuel infrastructure. It's a choice. You can always choose different. And it's the most important thing, energy. And food is also energy. Food is energy. People also will consume energy. It's the most important thing, and the most important choice that mankind can do is reservoir of energy. What kind of energy you will produce, and how this producing this energy impact your environment. That's the most important thing. And individually, it's the most important thing. What kind of food do you eat? What kind of food do you consume as energy as a person? That will dictate how your body will react. If you only eat bad food, don't be surprised to get chronic illnesses. If you only go to some polluted places, go to like some, you have many different kind of reasons to have some kind of toxins or different kind of things. Don't be surprised to get chronically ill at a later period of your life. Eat good food, breathe clean air. Where is the sickness? There is none. You will be healthy even 90 years old. And how good thing that is for individual person. When you are young, you don't care. You just kind of have this kind of illusion that it's like that it don't include you, this kind of thing. But when you grow older, you notice, oh, I should have lived better. I should have made the right choice, and I should have been taking more care of it. And when you accumulate these kind of chronic illnesses in your life, only then you start to care about it. Old people are saying you when you are young that you should take care what you eat. You should take care about what you eat because they care about you. But it's annoying to you. Yeah. And you just want to eat some kind of chocolate bar or something only. And then it becomes annoyance to you only. But it's only because they know better, because they know it, the hard part for it, because they are old. And no old person who have lived can look back and see that don't have this kind of regrets that I didn't take care of my body. And then they feel it in their body because it hurts, they have sicknesses and they have everything like this. And they don't want you to have it. because they want to save you from this kind of experience, and this that there are even in Chinese old medicine that they for surely that don't take they don't follow nowadays. They are modern Chinese people and they don't follow their own this kind of practices that they used to. There is this kind of principles that sicknesses are they are cured before they happen, as in by living right, and they eat medicine before they get sick, for the reason that the food is medicine, and they want to eat. They have this kind of superior grade medicine, and there are this kind of qualities for superior grade medicines that you can never have overdose of it. And there are no negative symptoms ever. So no matter how much you eat this superior medicine, you can always eat more. There is no amount. There's always beneficial to eat more. For example, something like this like onion, for example. This onions, for example, can be something like this, or some kind of reishi mushroom, or some kind of spirulina algae, or something like this. These are kind of superior grade medicines, and this I don't know about spirulina algae. It's very beneficial and healthy, but there are some kind of limits. You cannot. It's not superior grade because it's not the same thought process. But there's this kind of a ginseng or this kind of things, that this ginger or this, I don't know what is this word, this ginger, this kind of root plants, this kind of things that the and mushrooms and root plants are very like this holding high regard in this kind of old folklore, that you eat lots of them, so you accumulate lots of antioxidants and this kind of things that protect your body, and then you have good immune system because you constantly every day pump these superior grade ingredients in your body, and then you don't accumulate this kind of disease. Even there would be some kind of conditions that you would accumulate some kind of disease. This food, as in your energy, it protects you, and that's the reason that it's the worst way to do, that you first become sick and only then start to treat the sickness. But in their old Chinese thinking, they think that they will never want to become sick. They will treat the sickness before it happens. And in this way, the patients can never become sick, which is way more beneficial for the person than first becoming sick and only then start to treat the sickness. Because many chronic illnesses cannot be treated. It's with you. It stays with your whole life. This kind of these disadvantages or this kind of hindrances or very and when you live with chronic diseases or illnesses your whole life, you have to think about it. You live about it. You cannot be cured, and you have these regrets that would have been living better. I would be having a healthy body, and there is nothing more important for a person than a healthy body. It cannot be replaced if your body goes broken permanently. And that will generate your regrets. And then, only then, you will understand why the old people say to you that eat good food. And that's the reason one of these policies, these make America healthy again, which is, I think, a right direction. But I would hope it would include this because part of this healthy again is environment. If you pollute the environment, it don't help as much if you eat good food. You still become sick if everything is polluted and there is toxins everywhere and everything's like bad like that. So it's part of the healthy way of living is clean air also, and this kind of a good. It's also this kind of this protective ultraviolet, some kind of barrier that is around the sun. If this barrier gets destroyed, the sun becomes toxic to human skin, especially white skin, and then you can accumulate this kind of some kind of skin symptoms and different kind. There's also these kind of things. It affects a lot. The whole it's not that vulnerable. It's not that easy to destroy the earth. They have this kind of mechanism that protects themselves. And there are news about this, that there will become more disasters, there will become tornadoes, there will become all this kind of thing. I live in Finland. It doesn't affect Finland because Finland don't have this environment. They don't have earthquakes, they don't have tornadoes, they don't have any kind of natural systems that destroy the environment. But some areas does have them, and I suppose that Earth has been built so that humans cannot fully destroy it very easily. when there's probably some kind of fail-safe mechanism in ecosystem that once it starts to get out of balance, it starts to fix itself by cleaning the system with all kind of natural disasters. And when humanity will make the nature to do it, the humanity will probably lose way more than gain. And it's a bad choice. And then there will become lots of all kind of tornadoes, all kind of different weather systems and this kind of disasters and calamities. And is it nice? No, it isn't. It can destroy very easily if so unlucky that some kind of tornado goes to center of some kind of metropole. What would happen? It would be extreme disaster. And this kind of things. And there I suppose are these kind of fail-safe systems in Earth, this ecosystem, that once you start to destroy it, it starts to react. And it's the same thing that human body does. Once you do things to your body, it starts to react. It's the same thing, but it's a this macrocosmos, microcosmos kind of thing. The same thing happening in your body, it happens in Earth. It's not that different. It's kind of a biological organism that its own functions and own how it kind of how it functions. And once you start to affect to it kind of artificially, it starts to react. And it would be very wise not to agitate this ecosystem for all global good. It would be global first, not some kind of a greedy individual thought, but for all humanity. And can humans do that? No, they cannot. That's a choice. Humans choose to do the bad thing. It's a free will, free choice, and humans choose the bad. So they this kind of a test they fail in there. That's how one way to see it. And that's one thing that I don't like about this fossil fuel. It has been gone too much, and it's too much, and it's these people are still pushing it. It's not the thing. It's not the time for it. No. The time would be opposite to just. It's an old thing. This technology, this fossil fuel technology. It's kind of can be left behind of humanity. It's old technology and something move to something better, and to better for all. And this is a bit like this kind of old. I'm not that old person, but you can see this kind of old person nagging that you should eat good food, children. And then these children are like, bullshit. But I would suppose it's really like that. And I would really suggest to take this thing seriously, this environment and pollution. And then also this food, that to eat food. It's of course other things also. It's these core building blocks in life. Good food, then you should also have some kind of exercise, some kind of physical things that you just don't if you don't use your body to anything, it starts to become bad. The body needs exercise and it also needs good rest. These things, rest, exercise and food. The most important thing, food, and then rest and then exercise. If you have good food and good rest, it helps a lot. And this exercise also helps. It also affects your immune system, this exercise, that your body is strained a bit. That if you don't use your body to anything that will kind of challenge your body will become soft, or this kind of it will react to this that it kind of see that you don't need your body if you don't use it, then it will become worse. And if the body notices that you use it, that you actually need your body to something, it will build it stronger. And it's not only the muscles, it will build the whole system a bit stronger. So what is these choices people will make and how they affect the humanity as a whole? It's a very interesting concept, this Bible, that we are on some kind of somehow tested that what kind of people we are. And in that concept there is no thing that will go unnoticed. Everything will be noticed. All of your actions will be BBC. You cannot hide anything in this concept. You cannot hide. They know everything in this concept, this Bible. You cannot fool them or cheat. They know.